What is up, you damn gorgeous and beautiful gamers, and welcome back to Role-Playing Games. This is Mariel Corner in the internet where we like to discuss about RPGs. If you like the content, you would really help me with a like and a video and a subscription to the channel. Most of the people that watches my content are in fact not subscribed to my channel. So that being said, today I want to cover a very specific topic that of course, there are some beginner guides out there for this kind of games, but I believe that this is a topic that it has not been getting the attention that I believe that it should have. So, let's imagine that you are a new player, or that you want to try this game. You are still deciding if you want to buy this game. Actually, when you are just starting a game, you have to define what kind of player are you. This is the very first screen that you're going to run into when you start a new game in B Rising, which is a survival game. Now there are all kind of players. There are hardcore players, and then there are the more casual players. Do have in mind that survival games might be somewhat different to what most of the people are accustomed to. This game is attracting a lot of attention, and it does have some RPG mechanics, but more than the RPG mechanics are inherently part of survival games, where you have to craft gear, to fight bosses, to explore the world, get resources, and improve your character until the point of the end game. So if you are just starting out the game, you have to define what do you want to do with this game. Do you want to play online, or do you want to play a single player experience? This game is more enjoyable when you play it as, I do not want to call it like that, but like a service kind of game, where you focus yourself on the online play, but we will discuss about that later. The online play is mostly for the hardcore players. That is, of course, if you focus on PvP, it does has PvE and PvP, but we'll talk about that later. You will also see that it has a dedicated server. If you do not actually know about the world of B Rising, then you should stay away from this thing. Like, if you actually if you host servers, then you probably shouldn't be watching this video to begin with. But anyways, this is the single player experience. It can be a cooperative experience or a player versus player experience, but that is defined basically by your friends. If you want to play with your friends, if you want to play with acquaintances, if you want to play with people you know. So what I would advise is that if you are just a new player, this should be your main choice. Get yourself familiar with the game mechanics, get yourself familiar with the game map, get yourself familiar with everything that this game has to offer for you before actually joining a public server. Now, when you start a game, you will see that it has a predetermined kind of setup in here. I would advise you to not touch anything, because if we go to advanced settings, you will see that we have a bunch of options that we can change and that we can tweak and that we can move to our heart's content. If you are a new player, then you probably do not know, you are not familiar with the game mechanic, you are not familiar with everything that the game has to offer for you, the game's progression, which is, if you want to experience this thing as a single player experience, it's nice. It's not a story-driven thing, but it is damn fun. The exploration of the world, everything that this game has to offer, it is damn fun indeed. But my advice would be for you to not touch anything in here and just open up this thing, leave everything untouched, and then start a new game. Later I will have my beginner's guide for this specific game, but essentially what you want to do is get familiar with the game. Once you are familiar with the game, you can start playing in online play, which you have PvE, you have PvP, and full loot PvP. Now this one, the PvE is just for fun. If you actually want to play cooperatively, with people without having to worry about anything else, like people molesting you, making a hell out of your life, then I would advise for PvE. You can meet a whole lot of people in here, and it's always amazing to be running around in the world and just run up to people and might actually be friends, and they might help you, so on and so forth. Now, if you actually want to try PvP, most of the people actually stay away from this thing. And I would advise for you to not be afraid of it. If you actually enjoy playing against players, if you actually enjoy fighting people, but you are afraid that people will stop you from progressing, or like if you believe that this is a very punishing game when you die and your resources they are lost, specifically you have to worry about this in the full loot PvP. But even then, I would advise you that do not be afraid of it, because think like this: the whole purpose, of course, there are a whole lot of assholes out there are going to just kill you randomly because they can. But it's just like there are not many people like that. Imagine, like, the full focus in here is that if you want to fight people, is to get resources, get their resources, and then keep on doing your thing. If a high-level person finds you, do you think that they care of your little base? This is a time-consuming game. If you are investing time in this kind of games, and you probably are investing time because you have a specific goal. So, if someone's high level and they see your little base, they will see your little base and see and think if it's worth their while to actually mess around with it. No, they want to fight. They want to siege bases that they might have the resources that they want, the resources that they are looking for. They're not actually that interested in small little players. So most of the cases, most of the times, you will be fighting, and again, if a small level enemy attacks your base, like, what's the point? Most of the times you are going to be fighting against people that are on even odds. And if you want to fight people, it's because you want to gather the resources and not be having to farm them yourself. So again, do not be afraid of actually playing on full loot PvP. If you actually want to experience the PvP, normally this is the best choice. In fact, I would very much advise for you to try this thing. But if you are a new player and you want to learn the game's mechanics, if you are just playing for fun, you want to progress your character, you want to loot things, you want to kill enemies, and then get to the end of the game and move on with your life, and even then, if you want to keep playing this thing, I would very much advise for you to start right here. In a private PvE server, go through the entire game. It's not going to take you that much, and then once you are a seasoned player, get back here and start your online play. That is basically everything you have to know about the world selection when you are playing B Rising. I will be trying to make more guides for this game. I have been focusing myself on a whole lot of stuff in here, but this is a topic that I do believe that it has not been discussed properly, and that it really interests new players. That being said, remember that if no one has told you today that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, you're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel before you close the door, and I'll be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and stay safe out there, alright? Goodbye.